Well, welcome back to the show. This is 42nd Street Pete with more show and tell. And I just unearthed a whole bunch of stills. Now, I got all kinds of different shit in here, which I will explain, but if you notice, the top still is Rory Calhoun. And if you notice, this autograph is printed on here. That's one. So is the Robert Mitchum one. So is the Robert Taylor one. So is the Forrest Tucker one. So the whole thing was with these is, I guess back in the day before we had conventions where people could ass rape everybody for signatures, if you were, enamored or you liked a certain star, I guess you could write to the studios and request an autograph. So they had these actually, pre-printed autographs. But that was then. Here's one. This is from White Buffalo, 1977, United Artists with Charles Bronson. This is a film that has not been released on DVD or Blu-ray. Weird-ass film called The Vulture. It was on a double bill with The Deadly Bees. It says here in color, but it wasn't in color in the movie theater. It was in black and white in the movie theater, and The Deadly Bees are in color. This is a weird little thing, but a handful of British films. It's like I saw The Frozen Dead and It, and The Frozen Dead was in black and white. It was in color, but then The Frozen Dead showed up on TV in color. So it's just weird that they release some stuff over here in color and some stuff over here in black and white. An oldie, The Mad Ghoul, David Bruce. I don't know what this one is. It says Richard Nashe in Walk of the Dead, which looks a little bit fucking creepy. Again, I honestly forgot I had these. Another still from the same, Walk of the Dead. Don't know. I mean, this little creepy sucker back here. Here's one from, we all know, Curse of Frankenstein. This is also from Curse of Frankenstein. Don't really know what, don't remember seeing it in the movie, to be honest with you. Here's an old monogram clunker. Revenge of the Zombies with Gail Storm, Robert Lowry, Mantan Moreland, and Bob Steele. Of course, Bob Steele was a cowboy actor who wound up in F Troop. If you notice, and I'm saying this for a reason, that Mantan Moreland is third billed, that's because he was a box office draw. I mean, John Carradine's the star. This is basically a remake of King of the Zombies with John Carradine playing a Nazi scientist doing these zombie things down in Louisiana. So again, like I said, here's Mantan Moreland third billed, and, people are somehow shitting on him today for all the stuff he did, but you know something? He was a working actor, he had his shtick, and it worked for him. And when he appeared in Spider Baby, Sid Haig told me he was just so happy to be working. I think this is from The Lodger. That's Laird Krieger, another Jack the Ripper film from, I think, back in the late 30s, early 40s. These things weren't marked any way, shape, or form, but I'm pretty much that is Krieger there. He was a big dude. Here's, I don't know what happened to this damn thing. Last horror film with Carolyn Monroe and Joe Spinell. Last Days of Pompeii by Marion C. Cooper, the people that gave you King Kong. Now look at the cast. Preston Foster, Alan Hale, Basil Rathbone, John Woods, David Holt. Interesting. Of course, these must have been title cards or something. I don't know. Here's the Pompeians flailing here. Shot of the feet of Blood Creature, a.k.a. Terrorism Man. Of course, this was picked up and released by Independent International as part of their Blood-O-Rama shock show. And now we got to turn them like this, because now we're going into the other ones. Let me get this out of the way. Okay, this is a nonsense, some stills in some lobby cards have absolutely, no good scenes in them, and this is one of them. This is the werewolf. Don McGowan's in it. You flip it over here. Here's the Lost Patrol, and you see Boris Karloff there. That's an old still from 1949. Some kind of still lobby card with Renee Bond in Country Hooker with Sandy Dempsey also. A Harry Novak production, Box Office International. And if we flip it over on the side, we have, I think this is a British film, Satan's Slave. Got a lot of weird shit. Fraulein's Without Uniform. Some kind of German Nazi exploitation thing, which really isn't my cup of tea. But people went to see him. Go figure. I mean, I did do a write-up on these in former Grindhouse Purgatory, and I didn't put them over. I mean, everybody knows about Ilse, everybody knows about Love Camp Number 7, but some of these Italian ones were just so fucking grim and disgusting. They never ran in a movie theater. They went right to VHS, usually on World Video. Nazi Love Camp. If you notice, this is all painted in here, and it looks like this head is superimposed on here. Serpia Lane, must be an Italian or might even be a fucking Franco film for all I know. Grave of the Vampire, a perennial favorite of mine. Father and son related by blood, everyone's blood. There's Michael Pataki pulling the chick into the grave. Another shot from Satan's Slave. I got a bunch of Satan's Slave stuff here. I don't know what the hell happened. Satan's Slave, yeah, this had to be the British one, I'm thinking. Okay, now here's going to be a treat. If you notice what that says, Bloody Pit of Horror. So these are all a complete still set from Bloody Pit of Horror. Here's Mickey Hargitay as the Crimson Executioner. Here's the chick with the poisonous spider. Here's a little fight scene. Here's the Crimson Executioner pouring hot tar on someone's back. Don't try this at home. Another shot of the models. Shot of one of the guys who winds up getting fucking killed. You know, a couple, like I said, nonsense stills. They show nothing, just little scenes that don't make any sense. No payoff scene. This would be considered a payoff scene with him, torturing the chicks with the knives. Yeah, another payoff scene with him torturing the chicks with these knives. And I don't know what this guy's doing. Dying. They're having the fight and he's dying. Great. So that's our whole rare still selection, which I don't even know where I got these from. Shot of Burt Lancaster from the Scalp Hunters. Burt did a lot of westerns in the 70s. Some good, some bad, but Burt always had a presence. Charlton Heston from The Omega Man. The Good Guys and the Bad Guys with George Kennedy and Robert Mitchum. Shot of Valley of the Dragons. This movie absolutely positively sucked. You've seen this scene 1,000 times in 1,000 different films from 1 million years BC. And the dinosaur fight that was heavily advertised in the ads was this scene, only about 5 minutes worth. Boris Karloff on Voodoo Island. Vera Cruz starring Burt Lancaster and Gary Cooper. Shot from Dawn of the Dead, crowd shot of the zombies in the mall. And, of course, the zombie who walks in half-eaten when they're trying to get the helicopter. Another nonsense scene from Mutiny in Outer Space, which was another sleeper from the 50s. Voodoo Woman, as we see the Voodoo Woman trying to rise out of her pit. Something called The Witch from 1955. Looks like they're going to do something to her with axes and stuff. Wild Jungle Captive, starring Otto Kruger, another Universal one from the 40s. I'm thinking this was Mermaids at Tiburon, but I might be wrong. I have no fucking clue, and there's no ID on this thing at all. Wait a minute. There is something on here. The Warrior Emperor. That's what this is supposed to be. I thought it was, no, who the hell knows? We get these things laying around. Wild Women of Wongo from 1958. Have no clue. Black and white still with no identification. Same with this. No identification. Though this one looks like... No, it's not. Frozen Alive. Nonsense still with nobody doing anything. Valley of the Zombies. Now, as a kid, this thing used to run on Detective Mystery on Channel 5, and I'm here to tell you, there are absolutely, positively no zombies, flesh-eating or otherwise, roaming around. This is one of the most boring-ass movies ever made. It was re-released in '56, actually. It was a Republic picture. Shot of the Mad Doctor of Blood Island. This is the finale where the place is burning up from 1969. Some Spanish film that I have no fucking clue what it is. It was distributed by Columbia Pictures. Don't know. Looks pretty weird and creepy though, with all these little different segments of some hairy guy. The Mad Ghoul with George Zucco and David Bruce and Turhan Bey and Evelyn Ankers. Another shot from the Mad Ghoul. Got a bunch of Mad Ghoul stuff here. 1949. June Lockhart and the She-Wolf of London. I believe that June is still with us today. Werewolf in a Girl's Dormitory. I guess there's a funeral. Maybe it's the end. I don't know. See, you never know what, they used to just slap these things up. There'd be a couple dozen of these stills, and some had, some good scenes. Others had whatever. Another Curse of Frankenstein. We got a bunch of Curse of Frankensteins. Here's Christopher Lee as the monster. Here's them looking up at, obviously, Christopher Lee probably trying to throw something at them. Here they are comparing the hands they are going to sew on the monster. Here's the monster in the tank. Here's a good shot of Peter Cushing with the gun he's going to shoot the monster with. Another title card for Revenge of the Zombies. This is a movie I really like. It has stop motion animation. It's a pretty cool little 50s things with Cesar Romero, Hilary Brook, Chick Chandler, John Hoyt, Aquanetta, and Sid Melton. A little more close-up of the Triceratopsers. This thing actually was, when they got, there was something about a plateau on an island, and when they got to the top of the plateau, the film had a green tint to it, which was pretty cool. Another shot from The Lodger. Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires. Just has the karate guys in here. This was another, this was a Shaw Brothers, I believe, or something, with Peter Cushing. Laser Blast. Co-build with Slithis. That was the night I got my truck broken into. Man Beast, starring Rock Madison and Virginia Maynor. Horror of Frankenstein, with Ralph Bates and a head in a jar. Vampira, with David Niven as Count Dracula. I'm wondering if that's the real title, or was it changed? Nikki Henson, Teresa Graves. I'm wondering if this is old Dracula, different title. I don't know, I gotta look it up. Oops. Frankenstein Created Woman. Valley of the Giants with Johnny Crawford from The Rifleman. Night of the Blood Beast, where obviously she dealt it and he smelt it. Another one with, I'm trying to think what the hell this was. It looks like Diana Rigg and Peter Cushing. Oh, shot from TV's Avengers. That's what it was. Machine Gun Kelly. Got a pretty good little setup of these. Here's Susan Cabot in the foreground. Here's the bank robbery that went bad. Here's Bronson showing off his machine gun. Again, showing off his machine gun. This was a publicity still for the film. This was not in the film at all, this scene. Susan Cabot, Bronson, and Wally Campo. Richard Devon and Barbara Morris. I don't know who that was, but that's that whole deal there. Move that. Now we come to Beast of Blood with Eddie Romero as Dr. Lorca. Eddie Garcia, rather, is Dr. Lorca. Sorry, Eddie Romero was the director. I digress. Another scene from this where Celeste Jarnell is getting pulled out of the quicksand. Severed head in the body. It was a quick shot in the movie because the severed head looks pretty cheesy. Bruno Pullenzan as, what the hell was his name? Razak, that's what his name was. A perennial favorite on the Filipino screen. John Ashley and Celeste Jarnell. This one was signed by Celeste Jarnell to me as I was handling her during her Chiller appearance. Another one, we just find this guy hanging in the jungle, sliced up and shit. Some of Dr. Lorca's patients that haven't fared too well with psoriasis. The climactic shoot out of the island there, with people getting blown away left and right. This scene was not in the film. It was cut out, but actually was put back in when Severin put out the box set because they had about 5 minutes of a title sequence that they must have cut out for theatrical release, but they actually showed the guy coming out of the fucking ocean here. And, of course, a close-up of the severed head on the table, which actually looks realer in this scene. Yeah, I just was digging through and came across this stuff, and I figured you guys might get a kick out of looking at it. So that's our show for today. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all you new subscribers tuning in, and stay safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.